Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Uncharted, The Lost Legacy, Crushing Difficulty walkthrough, and this is chapter 6, also known as the Gatekeeper. And we're going into this game's first real boss fight. That fight with Asav in the previous chapter was a little taste of things to come, but now it's time to settle the score with the APC, once and for all. And the APC is, to put it plainly, he is a troll. He can be so trolly, it's amazing, and it's incredibly frustrating.
Slow down. Slow down.
Because strategy I will show you to get through this fight is extremely safe. It's absolutely safest strategy I could find. And it took me quite a few attempts to pull this fight off, because there are no checkpoints in this fight, and it is a long fight. So be prepared for that. The strategy I use is maybe not the fastest, but as always, it is absolutely the safest one I could come up with. And it's based around using geography to your advantage. You saw that little corridor or whatever you call it with the debris in it. We're gonna head in there from the other side. And to take out the APC you need 5 pieces of C4, or you need to use a rocket launcher. By far the most effective and easiest way is to use the C4, so you can use the rocket launcher on another thing that I'm gonna talk about later. But the thing you need to know about C4 is that C4, as you may know, it doesn't explode until you choose to detonate it. But you can now only carry 4 pieces, and you can only have 4 pieces in the game at once. Because I threw one at him, and then I picked up 4 other pieces. Now I'm just trying to get the enemy's attention and head up this little whatever you call it. Anyway, I threw a piece at him, and I went and picked up 4 more pieces because I wanted a trophy for taking him out in one blow. And I realized when I watched this episode before narrating it and while I was editing it, as I threw down the 5th piece, the first one I had put on the APC despawned, which you will see if you pay attention to it. But this little, let's call it an alleyway, this is the best place to be in. And the reason I'm running up here, this is something I realized as well. If you run up to the furthest part, as far up as you can go, as I did right now, you reset the AI of this fight. And the way we want to use this area is to go out, fire a shot at an enemy, or at least go down there, make sure they see you, make sure they know where you are, because the APC will know where you are as long as the other enemies know where you are. So what you want to do is lure them down there, because you are completely safe behind this rock. They will not go up here, the APC can't go up here, and the only threat is if you expose yourself for too long, or if they manage to get a grenade up here and you're not paying attention and you get blown up. But as you know, you heard right there was an audio cue. He threw something, screamed something about fire in the hole or something. So whenever you hear that, just move further up. And also the APC can be very helpful up here, because on one of my attempts I thought that there weren't as many enemies as there were on other attempts. And then I realized, as he's trying to get at you, he's gonna do those 3-point turns, or whatever it's called in English. He's gonna go back and forth trying to turn around, and he can run over enemies while he's doing it. So if you really want to be conservative about your ammo, you can use that. If you get time to spare and you don't want to fire too much, just lure them over here and wait for him to run them over. And a way to speed this up, because since we want to get their attention and stay safe, whenever you feel he's getting too close and these foot soldiers aren't, just run up to the end of this alleyway in the rock and reset the AI. And now I saw him coming in too close for comfort and the soldiers weren't there, so once again I run up here and reset him. He's always gonna go over to the left side of the screen when you do that, and the enemies are gonna start moving back to their patrol positions. You see him right up there? If he's too close, or if you see the entire car, he may not reset. Then all you have to do is run maybe like halfway down the alleyway and then go back up to the end of it, and that will reset him. And the guy up there has a rocket launcher. And I don't want him to stay alive. I want to take him out on my terms. So I soften him up and then I'm going back up to my little alleyway. Because at this point I don't know how many enemies are left. I know there are quite a few of them in this area. I think there are maybe 10 plus enemies. Something like that. So, and also since it's different between all the attempts I did, sometimes I had to kill them all, sometimes that the big armored troll did it, so it varies. But just stay cautious and you will succeed in this, no problem at all. The hard part is actually after you've taken out all these foot soldiers and you have to focus your attention on that big vehicle. And that is the fact why he is such a troll. Because on several attempts I did at this, you see his cannon tower is searching for me. I had killed all the enemies, I had done my little run up and down this alleyway. And I came down, I went around in the high grass, he was totally oblivious as to where I am or where I was. But suddenly he decided to change direction or something like that, or just take the scenic route and drove straight over me. And that is a really cheap way to go. Because this fight is quite long. I think it took me about 20 minutes on my recording run to complete this entire fight. But something I realized that you can do, which is gonna make the second part, as I like to call it, of this fight a lot easier, is that I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna pick up a piece of C4, because it actually happened by chance. Because if he spots you when you're out here in the open, it is very hard to get away from him. He is very attentive, he is very aware of his surroundings, which is really fucking amazing due to the fact that he shouldn't see shit inside that big vehicle. It's totally covered in armor, but somehow he has perfect vision and he knows where you are constantly. Maybe has heat-seeking vision as Predator does. Wow! That was a headshot. That was confirmed headshot. That is some aiming skill, people. But right now, I think he was the last foot soldier. And I wasn't quite sure if the APC noticed that I took him out. So just as a precaution, I run back up here one extra time, just to be sure that I reset him. But what happened, and which you will see happen, is that when I picked up the first piece, I get spotted. I think it's just before I pick it up, so I have to retreat back down there. Luckily for me, he was quite far away, so I had time to go back there. But I'm gonna throw it at him and make it attached to the car. And that is something I realized really makes this second part a lot easier. And you're gonna see what I mean in just a minute. Because I think there are at least 5 pieces of C4 scattered around this battlefield in open lockboxes this time, thank God. And there is also one RPG rocket in one locked. Yep, here he is. He spotted me. Apparently there was one soldier left. And of course I missed the C4 on my first attempt. And now I was quite nervous, because now I have 1 foot soldier chasing me and his godlike aiming, and I have no idea where the vehicle is. So I'm running for my life right now. Because just due to the sheer frequency of his firing, he can mow me down. And even though his damage output isn't as high as normal enemies, here we have the guy that spotted me. Down he goes. And the big car is coming in quite soon, I think. No, I decided to reset. Yeah, it can kill you just by the fact that it goes into complete bullet hell mode. It has 2 giant guns and it loves using them. But now I go down and I try to get his attention, because I want to try a theory that I came to think about actually on this attempt, now that I think back. So I get him down to where I am. I start firing at him with my rifle just to get him to show up, and I wasn't quite sure if he was coming, but here he is. So I throw the C4, it lands on the vehicle, and now we have a little arrow there, because the game wants me to detonate the C4 and it wants me to know where the C4 is. So now I can go into complete wall hacks mode. Now he's lost track of me, because I went up to the reset point. He's gonna do his little 3-point turn and fuck off to the left. And now, for the rest of this fight, I will know where he is at all times. And that is the easiest way to win this fight, because now he cannot hide. I can hide from him, but he cannot hide from me. So now I can be a lot more safe, because I can sneak around in the high grass and I can always keep track of him. And my best tip, as I said, you cannot take him out in one blow on this chapter. Because what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna gather up 4 pieces, because I thought that you could have 5 and take him out in one go, which you can't. But I'm gonna go around the battlefield and pick up 4 more pieces. And then I'm gonna head up into the tower where the guy with the RPG was. You know, the guy where I did the amazing headshot? Because after this fight, the great part about that tower is when he gets his attention on you, he will try to drive up close. By the way, this is the tower that I'm sitting right next to right now. He will try to get up close, but the tower is so high that he can't get at you. He will just more or less park right next to it, and he will have no chance to hit you. Also, this is a very dangerous area. This is one of the areas where he decided to do a 3-point turn once and backed right over me. And you may have seen a figure moving up there. That's Nadine. She and Chloe had a little fallout for reasons that I'm not going to talk about. That is part of the story, and it contains spoilers, so they aren't the best of friends at this moment at least. So now I'm just gonna sit here for a little while and wait for him to move on in his little patrol pattern. I was quite nervous. I'm trying to stay as close to the corner as possible, because I know that will minimize the risk of him hitting me if he tries to back up or change direction. And now I see I'm not quite sure if he was going into this little route between the tower and the trees. I was hanging back a little bit, just trying to get a bearing on him. And you see this is why that explosive is so great. Because if I hadn't attached it to him, I would have had no idea where he is right now. So that would have put a lot more difficulty into this fight. And now I know he's quite far away. So I'm gonna make my move over to this lockbox, pick up another piece of explosive, and run back over to this area, feeling a bit nervous because he may swing around the corner, but apparently he decided to take the scenic route. So now I wasn't quite sure where there was another piece, but by sheer luck I came across this tower and found the last piece. So now I'm gonna make my move for the tower to end this once and for all. And as I said, the fact that you couldn't have 5 pieces or explode 5 pieces at once was something I realized during editing. Also, you may remember this area if you went for the Hoysala tokens. Here is one of the puzzles where you unlock one of them. And that is also great clipping on one of the towers, because now I was really nervous. And he has spotted me and he's heading my direction, and I clip on the shrubbery. What you want to do now is blow up the first piece. Right now, before you throw down the other 4 pieces. You will see as I throw down the 4th one, you can see the first one despawning. Because there is a rocket launcher up here and a bunch of enemies will arrive on a truck when you've taken him out. So the best strategy to use here is blow up the first piece, throw down the 4 other pieces, and just sit here and wait for that truck to arrive. See? Right now when I threw down the 4th piece, the other one despawned. But I was in the mindset that I have 5 pieces of C4 attached to him and that should end him. So right now I thought he was dead. In my mind I thought like, didn't it do a bigger bang? But okay, he's dead, why doesn't the truck show up? And I was thinking about going down there, but then this suddenly happened. And I realized, oh dear God, he isn't dead. But I'm in a great position. I'm in a position of power, he can't get at me, so I just wait for him to move in where I can aim. And then we go in for the kill. So we take him out with a rocket.
Down for the count.
And here comes the truck in a few seconds. You can hear them coming. There they are. So if I hadn't wasted the C4, I could have just stood up here, wait for the very second that truck stops and fired an RPG at it, taking out the truck and everyone in it at once. But since I messed up, I'm gonna have to do this the hard way. I hoped that maybe they would stay inside the truck, but I don't get that lucky. So I went down, I picked up the RPG, and as always I trimmed out the unlocking sequence. And I realized Nadine has gone into complete beast mode, and I think she's taken out 2 of them. I think, no? I saw a muzzle flash over on the right as I miss complete.
Too close.
How in the hell did he get a grenade up there? Who threw that grenade? Did you see that? I know one guy was over to the right, one was straight in front of me, and one was over to the left. And one of them threw a grenade that went halfway across India. Well, that's amazing. And what I'm doing right now, I realize none of them are gonna go down here. So as long as you stay behind cover down here and keep your distance, they will not get at you. So I take some time to loot through the battlefield as I'm going around here. Because I wasn't quite sure what they were gonna do, I wanted to keep my distance, and I also wasn't sure if there was a checkpoint. As far as I know, there may not be a checkpoint at all in this fight. Logically, there should be one after the APC has gone kaflooey.
That's it. We're clear.
And that truck arriving, but
Be right there.
you can never be too sure, especially not with the Let's try that again. Especially not with the inconsistency of checkpoints in this game. And also I recommend that, I just realized, I told a lie before, there are quite a lot more than 4 pieces of C4 here. which I've realized now, and try to bring as many as possible with you into the next chapter, because chapter 7 starts off with also a huge fight, and they're gonna serve you well right there. So pick up as much ammo as you can right here. Pick the gun you feel most comfortable with and which you can get the most amount of ammo to, because it's a really big fight coming up. And now that everything has calmed down, as I said, we are running around here, and just so you know, if you haven't played through the game, you don't know this, but there is an elephant section coming up. I skipped that. Because this game is jam-packed with exposition and platforming as it is. And the elephant part of it, it was really great the first time I played through the game, and I think a lot of people thought so as well. The second time, completely uninteresting, because it's based around you sitting on an elephant for different reasons, and you're riding it. You cannot steer it. You can pet it at times to keep it calm. Actually, last time I played through it, when I got to that part, I just put down my controller, went out into the kitchen, got me a glass of water and a quick smoke, and just let the game progress on its own, because it doesn't require any attention from you. It's just to progress the story forwards and to show off the amazing graphics, and also once again the bonding between Chloe and
What are you doing?
Nadine was what I was gonna say. But now once again we're back down in the catacombs, and we're gonna get to the point where the elephant is. And I don't think it's very far.
Exactly what it sounded like.
I'm not quite sure. I don't know where I start trimming, but once again I know I mentioned it in almost every video, but it still amazes me how beautiful it is at times. I have seen cutscenes that are uglier than the gameplay is of this game. And speaking of the cutscenes, actually that was something I was gonna talk about, and now I have the time to do it, because now we just have some exposition. There are a lot of skippable cutscenes. Almost all cutscenes are skippable in this game. And I've been through the entire game series.
You don't care. Shh. You hear it?
But something I really dislike about this game and its skippable cutscenes is that I mentioned it in another video that in some of the games there are some cutscenes that are skippable, there are some cutscenes that aren't, and I think the unskippable cutscenes are there to hide loading screens. By the way, there's the elephant. And through the magic of editing, we are now by its entire flock, or herd, or family, or whatever you call a bunch of elephants. Anyway, you can skip almost all the cutscenes in this game. But the thing that happens when you skip a cutscene in this game is that instead of going on to the next gameplay sequence, you go into watching a loading screen.
Nice of Asav to leave some.
And that is great design. Or is it? I can't understand. Why do you give people the option of skipping let's try that again, once again. Why give the people the option of skipping a cutscene if you're just gonna force them into watching a loading screen instead? Because let's be honest, a cutscene, even though you may have seen it before, it's a lot more interesting to watch than a little disc rotating down in one of the corners and seeing the word loading or loading down in the other corner and seeing a bunch of percentage numbers slowly going up towards 100%. Actually, at one point I even saw a loading screen going up to 102%, which I think was kind of amazing. I know you usually say that, oh, I did this, I gave this 110% effort, but that is just something you say. It's physically impossible. But apparently in this game they can load up 102% at least. But that's the way Naughty Dog does it. But I think what I was gonna say was that don't allow me to skip cutscenes if you're gonna make me watch a loading screen. And now I'm gonna stop ranting on about that. And we are coming up to the end of this, and we're going into chapter 7 coming up. We're almost at the end of the game actually.
I see light.
So I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.